dlaczego wyjechałam z Polski do Norwegii. Nie znudziło mi się życie w Polsce, co to nie.
Tomek po miesiącu stwierdził, że wyjeżdżamy do Norwegii. Tu jest super, mówi. Tu jest fajnie, tu jest super. Mówi, trochę zimno, ale jedziemy.
Przywiodła mnie tutaj miłość, a nie praca.
Nie miałam jakichś specjalnych marzeń. Takim, może nie marzeniem, ale taką właśnie nadzieją na to, że będę miała jakieś godziwe życie, że może wreszcie nie będę samotna, że będę miała tą bliską osobę koło siebie, gdzie wieczorami, kiedy już się nic nie chce, człowiek może nawet nic nie mówić, po prostu się przytulić i zasnąć. I tego mi było trzeba najbardziej, po prostu.
Da się odczuć, że jako Polka jestem traktowana inaczej, jest ode mnie wymagane więcej, pensja zawsze jest mniejsza. Nawet mi to zostało powiedziane, że powinnam pracować więcej.
Ja to owszem tutaj zaprojektowałam, ale chłopaki na zbrojarni, Polacy wykonali elementy, Polacy na produkcji zrobili formy, wylali i później kolega, kierowca, również Polak, dowiózł do tunelu te elementy. Także generalnie ten tunel od początku do końca jest cały polski.
Wszystko, co osiągnęłam do tej pory w bardzo krótkim czasie, to osiągnęłam właśnie dzięki samej sobie, dzięki temu, że się nie bałam, że próbowałam i że kontaktowałam się z ludźmi, głównie z Norwegami.
Kontakt z rodziną nie straciłam, dlatego że mam kontakt telefoniczny. Pracuję w przedszkolu z dziećmi, mówię, a dzisiaj jadę do babci, albo moja babcia dzisiaj do mnie przyjedzie. Moje dzieci tego nie mają.
This trip has changed my life forever. As a doctor, I traveled abroad to try to help those living in refugee camps. I met people with broken souls from many years of war. I heard stories of conflicts and concerns, pain and problems, hope for healing and dreams of peace. How can we stop this unnecessary despair? They say they have no friends but the mountains, but my heart was heavy to leave them adrift. When you say your prayers and think how you can help the world to be a better place, think of the hundreds of thousands of refugees and displaced people from war. Think of Kurdistan and don't forget them.
A tremendous flash of beauty became beginning of universe. But it says love appeared.
His sculpting was tied directly to his singing. And it was the first time I had ever heard him speak in Farsi.
I didn't think of Daddy as an artist. He was just simply Daddy. I knew he was a scientist. And then I knew that he made these things.
The things that he saw, where do you really saw that? I don't think you can do it looking into a microscope. During those formative 2 years, he wasn't a presence in the family. And Mommy was, everything.
She taught us by example the sense that there was this constant greater thing.
You know, then Mary Jane got in such a shape that I had stopped. And you see how I stopped in the middle of it, I just stopped. It is difficult to live with someone that you love and you see him physically, biologically destroyed a bit every day. I was going to make a lot of statues. Love appeared and put fire to existence. Isn't it something?
Тихо і притихо, ти землям ходяше.
Bože, zgrešismo, zalutasmo, postradasmo. Žele smo slobodu, postadosmo robovi. Tražili smo visine, survani bismo na dno. Oči naše iskaše svetlost, obavi nas tama. Ima smo silu veliku, darove mnoge, umove britke, prelepa lica, glasove zvonke, kose negovane duge. Ima smo reči smele, počesto drske, manire fine, ali ponajviše nosismo rane, tuge i boli, kojih ni sami najčešće ne bismo svesni. A sve ljubavi radi, koju tražismo svuda, samo ne u tebi, samo ne u tebi. Isuse, tugo moja, Isuse, mladosti moja, jedina radosti moja, oprosti.
Sanjajući večnost u snu i spavanju.
Welcome everybody to Inspire TV live talks.
Hello.
Welcome.
See you. Yes, hello.
Hello, hello. Welcome to 11th Bridges International Film Festival. There are some lovely ladies with us today and with their films participating in the festival. So, Kim Polo, you represent Don't Forget Them. And hello, welcome. Vakili and Erin Harper comes for Wild Heart, My Wild Heart.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for setting wonderful films in the festival. So, Erin, would you like to introduce your co-director, Lily Vakili, and tell us about this collaboration and the inspiration to document the story of an artist?
Absolutely, my pleasure. Yeah, and I think I will let Lily sort of give us her short synopsis. I am a co-director along with Lily Vakili, who is also the producer of the film and the daughter of 𝗏𝗏, who is the main subject of our film, who we filmed and spend a lot of time with. And so it's sort of it started as a family project for Lily, in a way, just because she is related to 𝗏𝗏, and a rich and deep story that she wanted to tell, and she brought me on later to the project, but I'll let Lily tell you a little bit about it since it's been close to her heart for a very long time.
Thanks, Erin. So, we started this project, or I started this project now about six and more years ago. And the initial impetus to make the film had to do in part because of the decline in health of my mother, who was always a muse for my father, and very much the the mistress of ceremonies in terms of supporting the work he was doing, sharing his work with all of us children. And she was suffering from Alzheimer's and was kind of receding from us. And as that happened, kind of the importance of trying to tell the story, a family story that is also an art story, but fundamentally, as Erin has reminded me so many times, a love story. The importance of telling it was just essential for me. And as the process evolved, there were many participants, many hands, as you see my father's hands behind me in the poster. Many hands made this film, but bringing Erin on board was a wonderful kind of coincidence and opportunity to take the film beyond the family to kind of a different territory of exploration of art and inspiration, persistence, hope in a certain way. But I'll let Erin speak to that because she has her own views.
Yes.
Yeah, you have
please, Erin.
You have a question. Yeah. Well, I knew the cinematographer that Lily was working with, and actually Lily is a musician, is in a band, and I've even shot some footage of her concerts. So I sort of knew Lily a little bit as, fellow artists, but I saw a short version of this film that was shot and edited by my dear friend who's a colleague, a filmmaker. And he felt that the project needed to grow and expand, or I think Lily actually thought the project needed to grow and expand, and he wasn't really willing to take on the next, the editing of the long form. So that's when I came into the project, and I just asked to watch all of the footage. So I watched every minute of the footage before, and at that point I was just being considered as an editor. And so after watching all of the footage, I feel like I found the heart of the story for sure. It was there and it was inspiring me to work on it. But I also knew that we needed to shoot more footage to fill in some missing gaps. So then pretty quickly, I felt like I was taking on a little bit of a directorial role. I mean, Lily is an incredible artist as a musician, as a visual artist. She hadn't made a long form film before from a director's perspective. She's a wonderful producer also. But I think that also when you're inside of a family and telling a family with 6 siblings and her father, she needed an outside perspective to sort of give a different view of kind of the universal interest, so it didn't become this sort of just family puff piece, but something that could reach many people. And so I think we worked together to find the heart of the story and the structure that would kind of move this away from like family history to like a larger film to reach a wider audience. So that's sort of how I got involved.
Thank you for sharing with us. And we didn't forget Polo, who's the producer of Don't Forget Them. How the director chose you to be his producer, Kim? Or you chose him, or you chose the director? How this happened?
I was the producer, writer, and editor, and I really wanted to tell the story, and I just kept looking for the right people to help me to create it. It was my first documentary, so I was new at things, and I had all the passion and I knew what I wanted to do, but I needed some help from other people who had different skills. So I think it was about 5 years learning about the topic and following an organization who was working with the refugees that are in our film. I knew I had, contacts and friends, and I knew the stories, and it got to the point where I just really wanted to put it together to make a film to raise awareness, specifically the refugees who are living in Kurdistan. So just trying to get the message out, show people a personal side of people who are suffering in that area of the world.
May I ask you what brought you to the topic? What was you speak of the passion about it, and that being the driver. What brought you to that subject?
So I studied international relations, and I was in the Peace Corps in the Middle East. And then I got married and had children, and was interested in photography and filmmaking and YouTube and things like that. And it just kind of kept building. I kept being interested in the Middle East, and then I had friends and family who were working specifically in this region. So it was sort of from a distance, constantly being interested in following it. And then it got to the point where I was so close to it, and it was so emotional for me that I just wanted other people to hear the story. So.
Did you know, how are you related with the director, Kamaran Karym, and why you chose him to do this film?
We chose him. He's in England, actually, and he flew to Kurdistan and met the doctor who's in the picture there. He flew there. He had the language. He's a great cinematographer, and he was able to communicate with the people. He knew the region. He's from there, so it worked out. I couldn't go. I was in America, so we just had to collaborate, and it was great.
Okay, so you knew his work.
Yes.
From the past. Okay, nice. And Lily, you have a career as a musician. We watched a beautiful clip on YouTube with you rocking.
Thank you. Yes, Petra mentioned that, and I was like, oh yeah, that's another part of my life. One of the things I love about this conversation, and here we are, 4 women talking about life. We have so many aspects to our lives. I know that, at least looking at the 3 of us that I know have kids, because Kim, you just mentioned, we carry so many different, we see life through many different lenses, and some of them are from a professional perspective. Some of them are from an artistic perspective. Some of them are driven by our family connections. Some of them are driven by our role as caregivers, mothers, and other types of caregiving. And I think that is also what drives an intense desire to collaborate. So as you mentioned, Kim, and as Erin mentioned, I didn't have any experience with a long form documentary. And you realize at a certain point that the passion drives you and drives you. Yeah. It's what's essential to get the deal, the project, the music, the art, whatever it is, done. But you need to collaborate with people who are experienced professionals, who bring their own perspective and really enrich a project. I know that certainly that's one of the things I just loved about working with Erin, was the complexity of thought and the generosity of thought, and then being able to work together, which is not always easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it in the end.
Yes, and yes, it's good. It's nice what you mentioned about the woman life, that are mothers or they care of family, probably older parents, and they have also their art in order to express themselves and to find ways to communicate and spread out messages, perhaps, to the rest of the world. So this is what I think the 3 of you are doing in your life. And Erin, also, I read that your biography, that you had something very special with Sundance. You were head of a program. Can you talk about that a bit, please? You can unmute yourself also.
Yeah, speaking of kids and dogs in the background, I give myself the opportunity. So pardon any background noise when I'm not muted. Actually, I had a film that went to Sundance. I was a producer of that film, and it was a narrative feature. So very different than documentary, like a whole. Yeah, I definitely dance between the world of narrative and documentary for sure. So so yeah, that was an amazing experience. It's always fun to go to Sundance. But yeah, so that since then, and I've been a screenwriting lab finalist, and planning on applying to the episodic lab this coming year, and with a new series that I'm writing. So it's a wonderful community once you get to experience being there. It's very supportive and wonderful community for sure.
Okay, and what is your next project now? It's something that you developed in this lab or something else?
Well, right now I'm currently finishing a short film. It's a short film called 𝗃𝗯𝗃. We're in post-production right now. It's about it's based in the rural part of the country where I come from. And it's sort of actually like a dark comedy in a way. It's a bit of an odd genre, kind of a genre film that, again, I just wasn't really expecting. It sort of came about that way. And one scene takes place in a diorama, so the visual effects are really complicated. That's what we're doing right now. So that film will probably be released actually for the it'll be done in 2021. So we'll do the festival circuit for that. And that's actually going to be a film that, instead of it being the pilot of a series, I'm kind of aiming for it to be the last episode of a series. So that's what I'm writing right now, and about women living on the plains of America, and life on the plains as a woman all the way from the turn of the century to present day. And that, yeah, so that's what I'm very much in this kind of odd, like super post-production phase right now, scoring, color correction, visual effects, and also in the writing phase every single day, my writing, discipline to the beginning. So it's really fun to be on those two bookends of the process, and looking for an exciting year of 2022, hoping that we'll be in festivals, looking at films on big screens again.
Thank you. Welcome, Svetlana. Hi, how are you? So I thought, Erin, that you would be interested to make a documentary about Lily and her career, and as a musician, and I don't know, maybe her origins. It comes.
I got my hands in a lot of different pots. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
It makes it interesting.
Yes, that's true. So Svetlana Cemin is with us. She's the director of Father Arsenie, the documentary. I think we had we saw the trailer a bit more. Welcome, Svetlana. Would you like to unmute yourself? We like the lights, the sparkling lights. Bring us in the season spirit. Maybe there is some music also. Let's see. You can unmute yourself in order to hear you.
Hold on a second.
Oh,
okay, so
excellent.
I had a problem with my computer for the last few days because I had a bug, and then the restart of the computer it lasted maybe 17 hours. So everything got disconnected. I was very frustrated. In the meantime, a lot of things are going on, and all positive things in my work. And so I'm happy to see you. I'm not going to dwell on it. But we are living in a new world, the world of connecting through the technology, and you realize sometimes it's so wonderful and easy, but if it doesn't happen, it has that down point where you really see how disconnected we can be, connected and disconnected. So if you want to ask me some questions, please do. I don't know. Right
Yeah,
now,
okay.
I'm just very happy to see you again.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, because that's why I was wondering, because you had the details also from the previous festival, how to
I
get
loved
connected.
it.
Yeah.
It was great.
Okay,
was really
welcome back.
great.
Welcome back. Yeah, this is a new way to communicate in the festivals. I think that we had this technology also in the past, but we were not used. And we prefer to, of course, the physical attendance and meetings, physical meetings. But I think it's a privilege now that during the pandemic, we can be in different countries, in different areas, maybe in our home, safe and warm, and have the opportunity to participate in a festival. And when we will have now, I consider this as a luxury to go to the theater. So when we will have this luxury to go to the theater, we will appreciate more. But yes, it is a way to get connected either from mobile or the laptop or the desktop. And yeah, we create a bigger family, a bigger network. Let's see how this will work. But in any case, we didn't want to postpone or to cancel. In Cyprus last month, we had the privilege to have also public screenings, but not in Greece. All Greece is in lockdown. So next year, I think I want to do that, but I cannot promise. We will have the screenings of this festival and the next festivals together. So
You're so good at it. I wish you could do the festival in Hydra on my island in Greece. Because I tell you one thing, several years ago, I had an idea of starting up the festival there. Of course, I would never be able to do it for so many reasons. But it's a very artistic island, lots of interesting people from all over the world. I mean, some of them, they have houses, some of them, they are dedicated to Hydra every year. And culturally, it's very vivid. And we are missing a festival. So I'd like to introduce you to our mayor, 𝘄𝗄𝗄𝗃. Really, Petra, you should be perfect for that. And
thank you. Thank you for the great idea. Hold on.
For a few days, even just
this summer,
yes.
I live in Greece, mostly in Greece. This summer, I was invited to go to Franklin, to the festival. And I broke my wrist, so I couldn't travel. But I went to Hydra instead. So it was the second time. So I realized that what you talk about, that there is no festival. There are some exhibition rooms in the library, and but not a festival.
No,
and
we want to make the festival.
I know a lot of people there, also from the film industry, like 𝘃𝗶𝗍𝗶𝗍. He's a great
friend of mine.
You see, you have common friends. And I met the mayor, of course. Yes. And we must tell to our friends here that Leonard Cohen,
yes,
the musician, has a house that it is.
My neighbor, he was my neighbor.
You can go and visit the house now, Leonard Cohen. Yeah. So this is a proposal. We will work on that as well.
We support the proposal, Svetlana. We would love to come.
So, bravo. So we will have the screenings of Bridges International Film Festival in Hydra. Let's find the venue. This is the problem only. Yes, it is an island. There is no car. No. You go by foot everywhere.
When I had an idea, just to go about for 1 second, to organize this festival, of course, I didn't want to be I just wanted to structurally organize the festival for the sake of art and bringing more art into 𝘃𝗃𝗄𝗃, getting films, because many interesting filmmakers live in 𝘃𝗃𝗄𝗃. You know, 𝘂𝗶𝗱𝗶𝗹, he's also my neighbor. There are people who come and they get inspired, and you know, so the mayor at that time was not elected mayor. He was just about to become elected, and he said, I will make a proposal, of course, and then we will invite people to come for a few days, and the hotels were going to give a very good discount to everyone who would come just for the festival. So there is a small
we have some participants there
very
already.
nice cinema, open air cinema, and then they have rooms we'll talk about after this festival, but I'm just so happy that I have finally connected, because I tell you, few days were very strange.
Also in Greece, all over Greece, there are so beautiful places that a festival can be done. Also, we do in May at 𝘃𝗶𝗶𝗹. But in any case, tell us about your film, Svetlana, Father Arsenie.
Finally, the film I shot in a very, very short period of time, which is really something unusual. Let's say no more than 3 days of work, 2 weeks and a half of editing. It's 42 minutes film that is going to be shown, I think, tomorrow. And it's an intimate portrait of a Serbian monk who used to be a very important artist in the 80s, an avant-garde artist in Belgrade. He has done lots of fabulous things. He was a painter, he was a musician, he was hanging out with a group of very important artists at the time who were performing all sorts of things. And then he was also a dentist. He moved to New York. He was very curious to live in America. And he lived there for several years, and suddenly he vanished. And I knew of him. We were sort of friends, not really intimate friends, not great friends, but you know, from the same group of people. And then suddenly in the beginning of June 2018, he called me up and he said, this is Father Arsenie. And I said, Alexander, is that you? He said, no, you cannot call me that name anymore. And I said, so what are you doing in New York? He said, I'm giving a lecture at the Greek church tomorrow in 𝘂𝗶𝗄𝗃. Please come for the lecture. And I said, no, we should just meet right away. You know, I cannot wait not to meet. So we met and we stayed for 11 hours. We were talking. I wish I had my camera at that moment, because can you imagine when two people meet after 28 years? In the meantime, we had a war in our country. We lost a lot of friends that we knew in common, you know, and we just went through a huge conversation about life, philosophy, choices, and all of that. And he looks fantastic. I mean, he's a very tall man. He's got a beautiful face, long beard. And the most importantly is that I could not believe how much his life story touched me right away. It just came to me. And it kind of made me stop with everything. I called up my crew, which normally I have to book like 3 months ahead, because I always like to work with same people. Everybody's doing something. We are all indie people. So you have to wait. And then I called them up at 9 o'clock in the evening. And I said, I know it's Saturday, but could you please come tomorrow at the Greek church? I want to film, because Father Arsenie had allowed me to film him. You know, and for me, that was a privilege. I said, I have to do that. And guess what? Everybody was ready, waiting for me at 11 o'clock in the morning the next day. I could not believe it. I was very, very, but at the same time, you know, at this point, everything happens for the reason, I believe. And that story just landed in the middle of all my other projects. We filmed in New York in the church, and that footage I didn't want to take because I realized that actually Father Arsenie is been followed by more than 500,000 people around the world. And you can see his lectures from different churches around the world, in London, in Australia, and all of that. I had no idea because he never showed any of his achievements to me. He only talked about why he had become a monk and what had happened to him the moment he had become a monk. So for me, who does documentary films based on artist stories, true artist, authentic stories, this was incredible, because I said I still see him as an artist, but now he's in a completely different place. And I am very much interested in spirituality. I believe that there is a great link between creativity and spirituality. And I admire everyone who does the same, no matter where they come from, if they're authentic to it, instead of preaching, instead of trying to convince people in their beliefs. I believe that we all have to find our beliefs, especially for our sensitivity as working with a very sensitive material. I mean, film, theater, that's where I come from, is the most intimate connection that I experience. That's why I need to explore it more, because it brings me closer and closer to the truth. And his truth really started to resonate with me. So we went to the places in Manhattan where at that time he was called Alexander Ivanovich, the same last name as mine before I got married. He lived, he did different things, so we filmed that. And then I said, I cannot stop here. I have to go and see the rest of the story. I knew that he was in monastery Rivnica, which has been completely destroyed by the Turks in 1830 or 32. And all the monks, more than 40 monks, were killed and burned. And there is a very tragic situation that no one wanted to deal with it, because it involved a lot of money in restoration. But Father Arsenie had put all the money that he gained in his lectures throughout the world, because people paid for his lectures and they bought his books. And he had made incredible resurrection of that spiritual center. I did not know until I got there. And I got there in February 2019. I even brought the mother of Father Arsenie with us. So she's in the film. And I will lead you to the story just in the way that it's not fair to discover too much. But I say with his confessions, it was almost incredible. I never expected to get anything out of any documentary. He had given us his whole life, his family story in such a way that I thought I didn't need to film it anymore. Once I got out of the monastery, I just went straight to the editing room. And it was a labor of love. I did this not for money. I didn't care. I put my money into it. And surprisingly enough, this film is doing so great in my country, and it's going to different festivals. I'm really, really very, very happy that for the second time I'm with you. You're supporting this film, and thank you.
I have a question, Svetlana. You're experienced doing documentaries. Do you think to make also fiction film?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's my next project. I think I after working with someone like Father Arsenie, this is what I was trying to explain before, I touched the ultimate truth of something that it was so profoundly challenging, and it changed me. And I got what I needed as a documentary filmmaker. I could repeat, like when you make a very nice painting and then you want to do it better, but you don't need to do a painting maybe anymore. Maybe you go into something else. And my idea is to go into discovery of the roots through a story that I had written many years ago. And it's a story based on immigration. But, we all try to run away from something. And for me, it's now going back home. And the way we'll execute this story would be very specific. A lot of metaphors I like to use, but the real feature film, yeah, I'm working on it. That's why I'm in Belgrade. I just met with my producer yesterday.
So you are in Serbia right now?
Yes, I'm in Serbia. I'm still in Serbia.
And the rest of you are in the United States right now?
Yeah, my studio and my work is in New York. I have a production company in Brooklyn called Sixth End Film. And so I made 7 artist portraits. I like the number 7, and Father Arsenie just got into that cycle as the most remarkable situation that we have now completed all of it. The next year, after the festival runs with this film and the other film, 𝘂𝗄𝗄𝗃, Svetlana Cemin 𝘂𝗄𝗄𝗃, I will start building the feature film.
Do you know the title?
Yes, but I'm a little bit now. I'm a little bit. I always go back to it. In English, it's called Alma's Brain, but in my own language, it is Alma's Brain. It's about a woman who had suffered a brain injury, and from the moment on, all the success and all her life stories that she had created for herself were meaningless. So she was really trying to find her true self, and she did not know actually when she realized inside that who she was anymore. And I think that happens to us a lot.
Okay, thank you. Well, Kim, we would like to hear more about you, about your work.
Thank you.
And your future plan. And you can unmute yourself also. Yes, thank you.
Well, we finished this documentary, I think February 2020, right when COVID hit. So this year has just been dedicated to this film, and it's going to come out early January, I think, or the end of January. And we made it to, we're hoping to raise money, awareness. It's going to go right back to help the people who are in the film in the same refugee camp. I don't have any plans yet. This was something I had to make and made it, and I'm just gonna wait and see. It took a lot of time, a lot of work, so I'm gonna wait and see where my energy is gonna go next. But enjoying finishing up the year. It's been a long year.
Kim, where are you from?
Originally?
Yes.
I'm originally from Texas.
Oh, nice. Houston?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've traveled a lot though, so my accent might be gone. I hide it.
I have relatives in Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Greek are everywhere.
Yes, I have many Greek friends. Been to Greece several times. Wonderful, wonderful place.
Oh, really? Bravo.
Yes.
Very nice, very nice. Okay. What other subjects are you interested in? One is immigration, for some reason.
For me?
Yes, for you, Kim.
I think this actually also goes back to what Lily was talking about. For me, a lot of the stories that I cover are about women and children, and it was very hard for me to. It was just sort of the worst of what was happening to women and children, and I felt for that, and I wanted to support them, and I have a long history of working with children and education, and I really just wanted to help in that area. So I don't know if, like, moving forward, the next project will be that, but that will definitely always be something that is of a high priority for me to work on, whatever it is.
Very nice. It's a great inspiration, women and children. It's the present and the future.
Yes.
Of course. Lily, tell us more about your music. And I don't know if you mind if we can share a clip or maybe of your work. What do you think?
You're welcome to.
Okay.
Of course, it's out in the world. So once it's out there, I have no control over it. That's one of the things that we all have in common, right? You make a decision to offer up something of yourself in the form of a film or a story or a piece of music, and
How long do you
out in
have
the world.
band or you play music for how long?
Well, I mean, I've played music for a long time, but I did not take the step of building a band until about 5.5 years ago, 5.5 years ago or so. And that's a process. I love collaboration. I love working with people who are similarly inspired. I love learning from others. And I love trying to take the idea in my mind and set it on the path to making it a reality. Of course, where it ends up is always very different and generally far more interesting than where it started. But so the band, it came out of writing stories. I see all of this as a piece, right? It's all storytelling on a certain level, and it's all for me, and maybe something Svetlana said really resonated with me. It is a journey, and for me it's a journey of an expression of love, and it takes many shapes and forms, and it's an exploration. And sometimes you connect with people really well and beautifully. Like Svetlana said, she didn't anticipate her film doing as well as it did, but it is because it's connecting with people, and Kim's passion for advocacy, is manifested in this film as well, and I know, Erin's imagination is so, when you visit Erin in her house, I just have to say, she has her children, she has her books, she has things pasted on the walls, telling stories. It's the expression of a creative mind. And I'm not sure where I'm going with all this, but I think the band, to come back to your question, it's just another manifestation of connection.
Exactly. Do you write the lyrics and the music also?
I write the lyrics. I start off with a melody. I come up with a melody and some ideas. And then the exciting part happens, which is I meet with the band and I say, hey, I came up with this. What do you think? And sometimes, the reaction is, Other times, the reaction is immediate. And we engage one another and we start to play. We play, I think anybody who's in the arts, one of the things you love is you love to play. That's where so many great ideas come from, improvisation, right? Hearing someone else's thoughts is a form of improvisation because it gets all those, ideas going in your own head. So yeah, and then we collaborate. We collaborate and come up with the right sound.
Yeah. Do you have a permanent band or?
Now there's a core of 4 of us. And, I'd like to say they're all 6 of us, but, people come in and out.
Yes.
It's like with a production team, right? There are people you absolutely want to have on that team because you have a way of communicating. And then there are people that come in and out and in and out, and makes it interesting.
Where are you located?
I live in Montclair, New Jersey. So,
yes. Yeah, and Erin lives in New Jersey too? Okay.
Couple times over. You're on mute.
I was in Brooklyn. I went to film school in New York and been in Brooklyn for a long time, and then had twins and got some more space in New Jersey. So yeah, just a hop, skip, and a jump from Manhattan.
Yeah, I know. I had the company, but now we shut it down in Saddlebrook. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So, Kim, where are you right now? Where do you live? Maybe you told us before, but I don't remember.
I'm in Florida right now.
In Florida.
Yeah.
Nice. It's warmer there.
It is. I heard that New York had snow last night. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Big storm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, lots of snow.
Yeah.
Lots of snow up here.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Which is why I'm like, I didn't, I feel like it's not warm enough now. I'm kind of bringing the sweaters out.
Okay. So, Erin, you told us what is your next project? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. But how was the pandemic for you? What did you do the last months?
It's been rough. Yeah, we had multiple productions and shoots were completely canceled. I mean, I'm a freelancer. I'm an indie filmmaker focusing on writing and directing, and so I do gigs. For a lot of times I produce, and with documentary, I feel like you kind of, at least I tend to wear a lot of hats, shooting and a lot of editing also, but usually for work where I'm, earning money, I'm usually produce or direct, and it just, so many shoots were canceled. And so I kind of took the opportunity, since have 2 kids at home and I'm educating them, their school is closed. My husband is a touring musician. In fact, we were going to go to Greece. He had a tour that was taking him to Greece last year with his band 𝘃𝗃𝗃𝗃, and the whole world tour was canceled. So I didn't get to go to Greece, unfortunately. And so because he's used to traveling, everything has been shut down for him. So it's rough being 2 artists in a pandemic in the US. It's rough. And so, it's been a time for not a lot of income generation, but it's also been great for writing, because I'm writing every day, and I'm just sort of focused. I actually got quite ill with COVID, and I was out for about 2 or 3 months. And there was a real awakening that happened during that time. And so this kind of finding purpose and looking inward, and really figuring out, what is the world going to be like after this? And what am I as an artist going to be doing? And how am I going to be participating in this shift that we're all going through? And so having the time to do that is actually pretty incredible, to not have all these obligations and be like, oh, well, I can't say no to things because they're not happening. So rather than hustling for trying to get on a commercial gig that will get me somewhere, in the next month or 2, I'm going to say no to that and be safe and just go inward and keep writing. And so it's been both stressful for health reasons, for financial reasons, but now that I have my health back, I feel fortunate to be in this incubation period and embracing that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I will change the question now. What positive things did happen to you, Lily, during the pandemic?
That's a very difficult question.
Yeah, you have to think otherwise.
Well, more quiet allows for more contemplation of nature and beauty, and, as Erin said, purpose. But I would give that up in an instant. Not to have seen so many people suffer and die needlessly. So I can always find some kind of hope, but I refuse to see this as a positive in any meaningful way, because there's so much tragedy.
What was meaning in your life, in your daily life, because there are changes in our lives. But
yeah, I mean,
also there are some positive things there were.
Yeah, yeah, you know, I think that there are some positive things, but there are, you know, there's a positive thing. There's a positive thing. Is my faith in the adaptability of human nature, of the kindness capable in people's hearts, exists. Science is real. And, you know, the degree to which scientists and all of the organizations, all of the elements that support the development of a vaccine, for example, that happened in such a short period of time, that's going to move medicine and science and the ability to help patients who are critically ill, that's going to move the needle in a meaningful way. It's come at a tremendous cost. But I'm encouraged by the better angels that have supported people in need, that have worn a mask. I'll just go ahead and say it. And, you know, and who try to move the world forward in a compassionate way. Okay. I know that may not have been the answer you were looking for, but that's what I have to offer.
Okay. Kim, do you have something positive to share with us from the pandemic that happened to you or you realized?
I think from a work point of view, I had a lot of time to work on social media, getting my message out, reading what other people were doing, listening to conferences. I feel like I learned a lot. I had a lot of time to listen to Zoom calls and panels that were happening across the world that I don't think the year before I wouldn't even have known about. So that was educational for me. I feel like I learned a lot from just researching and listening to other activists and following how other people were working and trying to solve problems. So that was a good part for me. I learned a lot.
Yeah. For me too, it was very educational, this period. Also, I learned how to do compost in my veranda. And now to have this Zoom meeting and try to organize the festival virtual. So Svetlana, what you have to share with us about the pandemic, something positive that happened to you?
Well, I arrived in Greece it was
you traveled a lot during the pandemic. It is unbelievable.
Actually, I was going to meet my husband. I have not seen my husband for 3 months. And he came from New York. My husband is a Brazilian artist. He came from New York. It was our 20th anniversary. I said, let's take a little break. We go to our island, Hydra, for 2 weeks. And the third day that we were there, we were in a lockdown and we couldn't leave the island for 6 months. I mean, it was amazing. And, you know, I didn't panic one moment, except that our daughter studies in Edinburgh, and it is our only child. She's 20. So we couldn't see Sarah. I couldn't see her for about 7 months from January, but altogether. And that was very hard for me. In another way, it was very good for me to realize how much I was missing contact with nature and a normal, simple life that I had with my husband. And because we work and we travel all the time, and it's kind of crazy, it became very strenuous. Neither one of us is very young, but we're terribly passionate about what we do. So we respect that about each other. That's how we function. Suddenly I was happy to be with my husband, and I was happy to be in Greece. I mean, I wouldn't say second home. It's like my only home where I feel at home. Everywhere else, I'm like a passenger. And the people were super nice. I mean, that was great. But the moment I came here to present my film in Belgrade, it was also very strange because here they carried on Beldog's Film Festival, documentary film festival. My film, surprisingly enough, became like a #1 film from the festival. So the film started to travel all over Serbia and came back to Belgrade. And I think I was so exhausted from giving interviews and from working so much. Now from here, my husband went back to New York, our daughter again to Edinburgh. Suddenly I got COVID.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm recovering. And I tell you, alone, totally alone.
I know. That's why you didn't come to Cyprus. We had a screening of your
I was
film.
going to go, but I just got the very good results from my doctor, the last results I had a few days ago. And I'm very happy about that. I'll be able to travel to go on the plane next month, mid-January, I think I'll be able to travel. But re-evaluation of everything, even though it's very hard. But as my friend producer from Belgrade told me, Snežana, she had to deal with a huge cast. They were shooting all the time in spite of Corona because they were doing a TV series. And she said there were so many crazy people acting out, the actors, the people from the sets, the people were getting sick. She had to go through a lot. And she is a beautiful and kind and very calm human being. For her to say such thing, it's a lot. And that made me realize that it is positive, this pain that I went through. For me, for my personal growth, for knowing what's really real and not to have such expectation as I used to have. For me, that's positive because I'm deep inside very naive and very childlike a person, you know, and sometimes that's just not good enough. I have to be more of another side of me. And I think it gave me that stretch to think about me wanting to really see myself as a helping, continuously helping, but not everybody. Because giving so much of your energy to so many people all the time, it's not good for your art and for your soul anymore. So I learned that lesson. So more contained and thinking about in the right way how to make another project which will be meaningful.
Okay, I like this, what you said, but I think all of you are doing that. So before we conclude this discussion, Kim, I want something more from you to tell us about the children, your cause with the children, and maybe next year we'll collaborate all together, do some screenings in Hydra. Maybe we have a concert of Lily and her band, and it will be for a cause for children. Tell us more about that. Your involvement with women and children. You didn't tell everything.
Oh gosh. So I was a teacher for years, again, in the Middle East. And then I have lots of children. So just always working with them and trying to figure out ways, like I really enjoy photography and taking pictures, like sports photography and just little things that can make people happy, you know? And as far as back to the movie, there's a lot of kids who went through some very serious trauma and orphans, hundreds of children who don't have that support and don't have that family, and just trying to find ways to support them. And, you know, everybody deserves to have that love and support, and finding ways to make sure just the bare essentials are taken care of. I mean, food, blankets, feeling that safety and security. That's really just something that I think, you know, worldwide, regardless, needs to be worked on. And even with the pandemic, it really was shown the world can change. And when you make something a priority, it happens. And why aren't we doing this for other causes? So on the one hand, it's hopeful that things can change, but people really have to care about it and insist on it. So that's where I'm trying to, keep pushing for the cause.
Yeah. In which areas you worked in Middle East?
I was in Jordan for about 2 or 3 years. And I travel all around to the countries there. And it was a long time ago, so things have changed a lot since then, especially with all the conflict that's going on in the region. But it's always been something that's interesting to me, and I just keep following, so.
Okay, great. So, would you like to add something before we listen the spoiler of the concert in Hydra for next year? She wants what is the title? So what she wants, what Erin wants, what Lily wants, she will sing that. What Svetlana wants. Let's visualize what we want. What I want to do something all together for children.
Well, I have to say thank you for bringing us together. I do have more positive things to say. One of them is truly to hear from other people. It's hopeful. Hear from other artists, and this opportunity to learn from you is generous. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Great, thank you. You gave us the inspiration. Erin?
Wait, what's the question? What do I want? What do I visualize for this collaboration?
Yeah.
Well, yes, a concert is lovely. Music is always good. Helping women and children. I come from a world of choreography and dance, and I am especially interested now in embodied living and using your listening to your body before your cerebral cortex all the time, letting that guide your inspiration and listening to your intuition, which can be found deeply in your body and your nervous system. And I've been studying and working on this for a very long time. And it's interesting, through the pandemic, certain work that I've been doing to heal myself has also been work that has gotten me very clear on what I want to write about. And it all comes from the body. And I think when you say women and children, it's all about that. And so the more that we can bring embodied experiences and sort of intuition to our projects, whether we're deciding on the next topic or the next project or the way that we communicate with others and the way we decide to record behaviors and show perspectives of behaviors, it is up to us to bring our whole selves to those experiences so that the world sees work that is at a level that's beyond where we are even now. And I do think that a group of women like this are in the forefront of making these kinds of things happen, where there's just more wholeness and connection to every part and every understanding of why we're here and why we're doing what we're doing. It's about collective. It's not just individualism. It's the collective of lifting everyone up. And so yeah, concert, beautiful images to connect to people and causes, and changing the world for women and children, and therefore everything will be changed if it's changed for women and children. We're on the right track. Specifics, let's work on that this year. Can't go there right now. I'll talk too much.
Thank you, Erin. Erin wants to change the world for the better. And Svetlana.
Look, I really would like.
Svetlana wants a festival in Hydra. This is done.
Yes.
So
I
what
think
else
all of you-
Svetlana wants?
This has been my dream for so many years, and now I think I found a perfect match. I mean, Petra was like the highlight of my whole experience here. I tell you, I followed Cyprus Film Festival. It was so great to feel, I mean, as you said in the very beginning of our conversation, we connect, and this is a great opportunity. It's actually privileged. If it wasn't for Corona, I would never imagine, let me go online, and how I'm always busy with something else, and I don't listen to what people have to say if they're on the screen. I listen to them if they're on the stage or in front of me. It's the kind of thing that we pay attention. And this was a very good, boost of energy for me. So now I want further. I want you to guys come to Hydra this summer, because it's a fantastic year, 200 years of liberation against the Turks. And so we're going to have festivals every single, not just weekday. I'm going to have my retrospective. I already shown some of my films in Hydra, but now, I feel like I'm really part of that cultural scene. And the cultural scene in Hydra is very specific. It's beautiful. So you guys should definitely try to come. We should do it, huh, Petra?
So thank you very much. Be healthy, stay safe, and be inspired.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful to meet everyone.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks for having us.
Sorry I was late.
Every day we are here at 8 o'clock, and also on Christmas Day. We will be
Oh, that's good. Okay. Let's celebrate.
So let's enjoy what she wants. What? By Lily Vakili. What is the name of the band?
The Lily Vakili Band.
Lily Vakili Band.
Highly original, I know.